Right now, there are over 207 million people worldwide just trying to make a living off their content.
Which is a massive number.
It's bonkers, right? I mean, they are out there filming, editing, uploading basically every single day.
Yeah, the grind is real.
It is. But, if you look past the glamour of the feed, there is a really harsh reality hidden in the data. And that is, half those creators are making less than $5,000 a year.
Barely enough to cover gear, honestly.
Exactly. So, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are stepping into the year 2026, where the global creator economy has hit this staggering, almost unbelievable projection of $234.65 billion.
Yeah, that's billion with a B.
Right. It's growing faster than traditional media and advertising combined. And yet, the dream of making a highly lucrative full-time living, it's reserved for a really tiny fraction. Like a mere 4% of creators earn over $100,000 annually.
Yeah. We're basically looking at the complete industrialization of the internet personality.
Ooh, industrialization. I like that.
Well, think about it. A decade ago, being a creator was treated as this, passionate hobby that might accidentally turn into a career.
Right, like maybe you go viral and get a check.
Exactly. But today, it is a sprawling, highly structured global industry. And it has its own rigid economics. I mean, the barrier to entry to become a creator has never been lower because anyone with a smartphone can start.
Sure.
But the barrier to actual sustainable financial success, that has never been higher.
Okay, let's unpack this, because that brings us to our mission for you today. We've pulled together a massive stack of 2026 industry reports, platform data, analytical teardowns we're looking across. Patreon, Substack, Floatplane, OnlyFans, all these specialized platforms.
It's a lot of data.
It's a ton.
Yeah.
But our goal is to shortcut your understanding of exactly how that elite top 4% operates.
And we want to decode the blueprint of the modern creator empire.
Right. Because by the time we're done here, you'll understand exactly how they turn just passive, everyday scrollers into these highly profitable, dedicated communities.
So to understand how that top 4% captures so much of the revenue, we have to examine a fundamental shift in their business philosophy.
Okay, what kind of shift?
Well, creators at the very top have completely abandoned the old model. For years, the ultimate goal was just to go viral on algorithmic platforms like YouTube or TikTok, rack up millions of views, and live off the ad revenue share.
The dream.
The dream, right? But relying solely on algorithmic ad revenue has proven to be incredibly fragile. It's essentially the equivalent of renting space on someone else's land.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because you are entirely at the mercy of the digital landlord.
Exactly.
Like one algorithm tweak or, one policy change and your rent goes up or your foot traffic just vanishes overnight.
Totally. Just look at the data from the 2026 State of the Creator Economy report. The top 10% of creators are now capturing 62% of all ad payments.
Wow, 62%.
Yeah, it's a brutal winner-take-all dynamic. And even for those massive creators, the income is wildly volatile, like YouTube RPMs.
RPMs being revenue per mil.
Right, the amount a creator makes per 1,000 views. That number routinely drops by 30 to 50% every single January.
Wait, really? Just in January?
Yeah, because advertisers blow all their budgets in Q4 for the holidays and then totally pull back in Q1. So if your mortgage depends on ad rates, January is a terrifying month.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
It is. And if you're banking on the explosion of short-form content, YouTube Shorts pay literal pennies.
Yeah.
The reports show payouts between 1 cent and 6 cents per 1,000 views.
1 cent. That's it.
Yeah.
You could generate 10 million views on a short, which feels like this massive viral moment, and walk away with enough money to buy, like, a decent lunch.
Pretty much.
That model just doesn't scale for a real business. And I want to push back a little here. Does this mean advertising is totally dead for the top tier?
No, definitely not dead.
Because I'm thinking of Ben Thompson's Stretchery, right? He outlines this concept called the unified content business model.
I know the one.
Yeah. He argues that the ad-supported model and the direct subscription model shouldn't actually be viewed as enemies.
Right. And Thompson's theory maps perfectly onto what the top 4% are doing right now. In the early days, you basically had to make a binary choice.
Like you either went big or went niche.
Exactly. You either built a scale business, which meant keeping everything free to maximize your reach for advertisers, or you built a niche business, putting everything behind a paywall for a small, really dedicated audience.
But not anymore.
No. The winners in 2026 do both simultaneously.
Let's break down how that actually functions in practice, because the mechanics of it are fascinating to me.
Sure. So think of free, ad-supported content as the absolute widest top of your funnel. The New York Times is kind of the classic institutional example of this.
Oh, how so?
Well, they use their massive, highly engaged subscription base to power a highly targeted advertising business. When you're a subscriber, you're logged in, right?
Yeah, obviously.
So the Times has incredible first-party data on you. They know exactly what articles you read, what sections you linger on, what you click.
Oh, so they don't even need third-party cookies.
Exactly. That makes their ad space super premium, and they can charge advertisers significantly more for it. Or look at Netflix.
Right, the whole standard plus ads tier.
Yeah, when they introduced that, a lot of people thought it was a huge step backward. But the data shows that in North America, that ad-supported tier actually generates a higher average revenue per user than their standard ad-free plan.
That is wild.
Right.
So the ads aren't just a consolation prize for people who won't pay the premium fee. They're a highly optimized revenue engine of their own.
Spot on. The free or ad-supported content exists to entice the audience.
And honestly, sometimes it exists to annoy them just enough with ad breaks, so they finally take that next step and pay for premium access.
Yep, that's the friction. You use the algorithmic platforms to cast a massive net, but you do not build your permanent house there.
Right. You leverage the landlord's foot traffic to funnel audiences off that rented land and onto digital property that you actually own and control.
Exactly.
So if free content is just the wide net, you obviously need a highly lucrative destination to catch those viewers.
Mm-hmm.
That means the real money in 2026 is flowing through direct fan funding. And the scale of this,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's become mind-bending.
It really has. The shift from passive viewership to active patronage is where the multi-million-dollar empires are being built right now.
Let me hit you with some of these explosive figures from Amra and Elma's 2026 report on Patreon creators. Let's look at Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast.
Oh, yeah, their numbers are huge.
They boast 120,000 active patrons. They're pulling in an estimated $2.8 million a month from Patreon alone.
Just staggering.
And because they have that direct line to their audience, they just added an $18 million live tour on top of that, completely, without needing a massive traditional media promoter.
And we're seeing similar massive valuations in spaces you might not even expect. The actual tabletop role-playing niche is a perfect example.
Right, like not another D&D podcast. They're pulling in an estimated $8.2 million a year.
Yeah, and Dungeons & Daddies is generating around $7.5 million a year.
And they're expanding into physical products too, right? Like graphic novels funded entirely through community pre-orders.
Totally. The underlying mechanism driving that specific success is the depth of narrative investment.
Explain what you mean by that.
Well, with an actual play podcast, the audience is listening to a serialized, improvised story. They're mid-campaign, so the barrier to canceling that subscription is incredibly high.
Because they're emotionally invested in the characters.
Exactly. They need to know what happens next. It's the exact same retention mechanic as a premium cable drama, but applied to independent creators.
Okay, that serialized lock-in makes total sense for entertainment. But flipping through this data, some of the absolute highest earners aren't entertainers or storytellers at all.
Right, they're utility creators.
Yeah. Look at Peter Bowies. He builds software mods for his sim racing game, and he is making $1.6 million a year from subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Or Ilja Jusupov, another sim racing modder, he's pulling in over $1.3 million a month.
It's incredible.
It is. Why would a software patch that adds, I don't know, realistic rain to a racing game drive higher and more consistent subscription revenue than a top-tier comedy show?
It comes down to fundamentally changing the consequence of cancellation for the user.
The consequence of cancellation, okay.
Yeah, so for a comedy podcast, if you cancel your subscription, you just have to find another funny show to listen to on your commute.
Sure, it's just a shifting content preference.
But for a utility creator like a modder, the barrier to cancellation is the physical loss of functionality in a piece of software you likely use every single day.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, if you cancel your subscription to that sim racing mod, the physics of your game revert to the baseline. Your digital cars don't handle the same way. The weather systems disappear.
Your daily experience is objectively degraded.
Precisely. The retention rate for a utility or a tool is vastly higher because you aren't just paying for a laugh. You're paying for structural infrastructure.
Wow. And, I also noticed in the reports a lot of high earners are political and investigative shows
Yeah.
like Chapo Trap House and TrueAnon. And just to be incredibly clear to you listening right now, we are not endorsing the political viewpoints of these shows or the sources covering them.
Right, of course.
We're strictly conveying the business mechanics described in the source material.
And looking strictly at those mechanics, the retention strategy there is built entirely on what analysts call a social identity cost.
Social identity cost. How
Yeah.
does that work in a subscription model?
Well, for audiences of those highly specific, ideologically driven shows, the monthly subscription fee isn't really viewed as a transaction for audio content.
Okay, what is it then?
It's a cultural signal. It's a tangible way they define their political identity and maintain their membership in like-minded community.
Oh, so canceling means something bigger.
Right. If they cancel that subscription, it feels like they are giving up a piece of their identity or abandoning their community. That makes those specific subscriptions incredibly sticky and super resistant to churn.
So finding a way to make your content indispensable is the key. Whether you're providing a software tool, a cliffhanger story, or just a sense of community identity.
Yep.
But a lot of these creators are realizing that even Patreon is still a third-party platform.
They are.
They're migrating to completely alternative-owned platforms to gain ultimate control. Like, look at Flightplane, which was built by Linus Media Group.
Built as a direct reaction to YouTube's demonetization issues.
Exactly. It offers 4K ad-free streaming. It gives creators a way to monetize their heaviest users without an algorithm deciding if their video is advertiser-friendly.
But building your own platform solves the landlord problem, sure, but it introduces massive operational risk.
Oh, definitely.
The risk of an owned platform is that its viability is entirely tethered to the parent company's public reputation. Floatplane experienced this firsthand. They suffered really noticeable subscriber declines following quality control controversies that were raised by other tech outlets, like Gamers Nexus.
So when you own the castle, you don't just collect the taxes, you have to actually defend the walls from every single PR crisis.
Yeah, you become the whole ecosystem.
Okay, let's unpack this, because here's where it gets really interesting. Building the castle is one thing, but keeping people inside your walls comes down to some incredibly ruthless analytics.
Oh, absolutely.
We need to look at the hardcore math of monetization, because not all fan funding platforms operate with the same mechanics, do they?
No, they don't. Industry analysts use a framework called the creator revenue ladder to explain this.
The latter. How?
So at the bottom rung, you have tipping platforms like Ko-Fi or Buy Me a Coffee. But at the top rung, you have service delivery platforms like Talkspresso.
The tipping platforms seem to hit a pretty brutal ceiling, though. The platform data shows the average tip is just $3 to $5.
Right, because people experience what's called generosity fatigue.
Generosity fatigue.
Yeah. They might drop a $5 tip to say thank you for a great video once or twice, but they are not going to sustain that charity month after month unless they receive tangible, recurring value.
Which is where a platform like Talkspresso comes in.
Yeah.
Because it fundamentally shifts the psychological model, right?
Exactly. Instead of asking for a donation, creators are offering a premium transaction. They charge $50 to $200 for live session delivery.
Like what kind of sessions?
This could be one-on-one career coaching or portfolio reviews or even closed group workshops.
Wow.
And when you charge $150 for a high-value session, you only need a microscopic fraction of your total audience to convert in order to make a full-time living.
That makes total sense. I was actually reading this fascinating Reddit thread included in the research from course creators who were just agonizing over their metrics.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. They were driving thousands of people to sign up for free trials of their educational courses, but their conversion rate to paid subscriptions was hovering around 10 to 20%, and they were convinced their pricing was too high.
But they were diagnosing the wrong symptom. The issue wasn't the price at all. It was the user journey.
It is exactly like a gym membership.
Oh, great analogy.
Getting someone to walk through the front door for a free 7-day pass is relatively easy. But if they walk into that gym, look around at all the complex equipment, feel completely overwhelmed, and leave without actually completing a single workout, they're never going to buy an annual membership.
Exactly. They will just wait for the trial to expire and ghost you.
Right.
Conversion is actually a completion problem. If a user doesn't experience a tangible, quick win during their trial period, the perceived value drops to zero immediately.
So how are top creators fixing this?
By migrating to specialized platform infrastructure. Take a tool like AutoCoach app. It doesn't just host videos, it deliberately designs the course interface for immediate momentum.
How does it do that?
It might unlock the first module instantly or deliver a digital reward or a progress badge within the first 5 minutes just to trigger a dopamine hit.
Oh, that's smart. And Scholastic takes it even further by using AI teaching assistants.
Yes.
Instead of the creator just sending a generic time-triggered email 3 days into the trial that says, hey, just checking in.
Which everyone ignores.
Exactly. The AI monitors the user's behavior. So if the user pauses a video multiple times on a difficult concept, the AI assistant reaches out proactively, in real time, to offer help.
Right. It is behavior-triggered retention rather than time-triggered spam.
And that level of proactive retention brings us to the most ruthless and effective data tracking in the entire creator economy right now.
Oh, you mean Aruna Talent?
Yes. If you want to see how this is done flawlessly, look at the Aruna Talent Framework, which is built entirely around OnlyFans creators.
Yeah, their metrics are fascinating.
I was looking at that framework in the stack, and it surprised me initially. But when you look at the math, their retention metrics are operating on the level of a Fortune 500 tech company.
The top creators on that platform literally do not care about total revenue or total follower count.
Really?
Nope. Those are just vanity metrics that fluctuate wildly. Instead, they track ARPS.
Average revenue per subscriber.
Exactly. A typical ARPS in that space is $15 to $30, but the elite top tier consistently hits over $50 per subscriber.
How are they getting that much per person?
They do this by mapping out highly sophisticated upsell funnels. They use personalized direct messages based on what specific content a user has engaged with in the past.
So they are maximizing the lifetime value of the audience they've already captured, rather than running on the hamster wheel of constantly trying to go viral to attract new people.
Exactly. And they religiously track their churn rate. If their monthly churn creeps over 30%, it means their bucket is leaking faster than their funnel can fill it.
But they step in right away.
Immediately. They intervene with targeted retention campaigns. They also measure PPV, or pay-per-view, unlock rates.
Which is what? Exactly.
Basically, when they send out a paywalled message, how many people actually pay to unlock it? A healthy standard is 15 to 30%.
So if it drops below 15%.
They instantly know the pricing was wrong or the copy wasn't compelling. Tracking these specific mechanisms turns the chaotic, unpredictable art of content creation into a predictable, scalable science.
That is wild. Okay, so direct funding and subscriptions are massive. But we really can't ignore the $43.9 billion brand ad spend market in the U.S.
No, we definitely can't.
Corporations are still pouring money into influencer marketing. But the data shows that who is getting those massive checks is changing radically.
Yeah, the 2026 influence flow benchmarks completely shatter the traditional rules of how brands spend their money.
It's not just about follower count anymore.
Not at all. Follower count is largely recognized as a liability now, not an asset.
A liability.
Why? Because massive audiences often have terrible engagement. Engagement rate is literally the only currency that matters.
The data on nano-influencers is proof of that, isn't it?
Yep.
These are creators with just 1,000 to 10,000 followers. A few years ago, a brand wouldn't even return their email.
Now they command $100 to $500 per single post.
Wow. Just for a post to a few thousand people.
Yeah. And the reason is that they boast engagement rates of 5 to 15%. When they talk, their small audience actually listens and clicks the link.
Furthermore, your specific niche heavily dictates your pricing power, right?
Oh, totally. A finance creator can charge 20 to 50% more than a fitness creator, even if they have the exact same audience size and engagement rate.
Because the baseline purchasing power of someone watching a video about optimizing their stock portfolio is much higher than someone watching a video about doing push-ups.
Purchasing power is half of it. The other half is compliance.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, creating finance content requires a deep understanding of complex regulations and legal compliance. Brands pay a massive premium for a creator who understands those rules because it guarantees brand safety.
But, that reliance on compliance and safety highlights a massive flaw in the current system.
What's that?
Human creators are incredibly fragile investments for a corporation.
Oh, sure.
I mean, we burn out. We demand seasonal pricing spikes, like Q4 holiday campaigns cost 20 to 40% more. And frankly, human creators get embroiled in personal scandals that can destroy a multi-million-dollar brand campaign overnight with just one bad tweet.
It happens all the time.
So wouldn't advertisers eventually demand something safer and more predictable?
And this leads us to the final and honestly most disruptive frontier of the 2026 creator economy: synthetic influence.
Synthetic influence.
Yeah. According to the latest reports from Playbella, we are witnessing the massive rise of fully AI-generated influencers.
I have seen these on my own feed. If you aren't paying close attention to the lighting or the background details, they look incredibly real
They do, and for a global brand, they offer the ultimate risk-free value proposition.
because they scale.
They are perfectly scalable. A brand can have an AI influencer stream in 50 different languages simultaneously. They offer perfect visual and tonal consistency.
And no scandals.
Exactly. Most importantly, to a corporate risk management department, they are completely immune to personal scandals. An AI influencer will never get caught saying something offensive on a hot mic, and they never ask for a mental health break.
The line between human and machine is just completely blurring. I mean, human creators are currently using AI tools to handle routine editing tasks or script generation, effectively 2 or 3xing their own output just to avoid burnout.
Right.
But creating whole synthetic personas from scratch, we are entering an era where AI personas are not just fun novelties, they are commanding premium brand deals and pushing the very boundaries of what it means to be a creator.
And they are executing the exact same retention and engagement strategies we just outlined, but with flawless computational precision.
So what does this all mean? Let's bring all of this together. The 2026 creator economy is a radically different landscape than the viral lottery of the past.
It really is.
It's a highly professionalized, ruthlessly data-driven space. The top 4% who are making the real money use free, ad-supported content purely as a top-of-funnel magnet. They build owned, independent subscription empires based on utility or narrative lock-in. They treat their retention, churn, and completion metrics with the rigor of a Fortune 500 tech company.
Exactly.
And they secure premium brand deals by offering hyper-engaged, highly targeted niche audiences.
You know, looking at all these highly optimized mechanics leaves us with one final, deeply provocative question.
Okay, lay it on us.
We have established today that the entire multi-billion-dollar foundation of this economy is built on the illusion or reality of trust. It is built on the feeling of a personal, parasocial relationship that drives a fan to subscribe to a Patreon or buy a product.
Sure, it's about connection.
But if AI influencers continue to evolve and they are mathematically optimized by the exact retention and engagement metrics we just discussed, what happens to our baseline expectation of a human relationship?
Oh, wow.
If the ultimate cure for a fan's loneliness becomes a perfectly engineered, behavior-triggered monthly transaction with a piece of software, what happens when an algorithm is scientifically better at being your friend than a real person ever could be?
That is a wild thought. We started this deep dive looking for the mechanical blueprints of how creators make their money. It turns out the business mechanics are incredibly precise, but the future of who or what is applying those mechanics is getting blurrier by the day.
It definitely is.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the 2026 creator economy. Keep questioning the systems behind what you see in your feed and keep exploring.